Tutankhamun, often referred to as the Boy King, ascended the throne around 1332 BCE at the tender age of 9 or 10. His reign, albeit brief, lasting roughly a decade, occurred during a tumultuous period in ancient Egyptian history, known as the late 18th dynasty. This era was marked by notable changes initiated by his predecessor Akhenaten, who had shifted the religious paradigm from polytheism to monotheism by worshipping Aten, the sun disk. Tutankhamun's ascent to power is historically significant, as it represents the restoration of the old religious order and an attempt to bring stability back to a nation in ideological and political disarray. The significance of Tutankhamun's reign lies in its efforts to reconcile previous religious reforms with the deep-seated traditions of Egyptian society. This period marked a return to polytheistic worship, reinstating the god Amun to a position of prominence. Furthermore, Tutankhamun's decision to relocate the capital from Akhenaten back to Thebes was a critical step towards cultural and political consolidation. His reign symbolizes a bridging point between radical change and traditionalism in ancient Egypt's storied legacy. One notable example of Tutankhamun's historical impact is the restoration of temples and monuments desecrated or neglected during his father's reign. This reclamation was vital in re-establishing the priesthood's power and traditional religious practices. Secondly, the treasures discovered in Tutankhamun's tomb, famously uncovered by Howard Carter in 1922, offer invaluable insights into the opulence, artistry, and burial practices of ancient Egypt, providing a snapshot of a civilization in transition. While many view Tutankhamun as a pivotal figure, in restoring balance, others argue his reign was too short and overshadowed by his advisors, such as Ai and Horemheb, who were the real power holders. The mystery surrounding his premature death fuels ongoing debates among historians and archaeologists about possible foul play, genetic disorders, or accidents, each theory contributing to the intrigue surrounding his legacy. The tragic end of Tutankhamun's reign is deeply intertwined with the broader narrative of the pharaohs, emphasizing the volatile nature of power and influence in ancient Egypt. It sheds light on the private lives of the pharaohs, revealing not just their public deeds, but also the personal trials they endured. Understanding Tutankhamun's life and times offers a window into the complexities of governance, religion, and culture during a pivotal era in human history, continually inspiring fascination and debate to this day. Tutankhamun's ascension to the throne marks a pivotal moment in ancient Egyptian history, symbolizing both continuity and change within the 18th dynasty. This event denotes the beginning of the young pharaoh's rule around 1332 BC, following the Amarna period's dramatic shifts characterized by his father Akhenaten's religious reforms. Tutankhamun, also known as the Boy King, ascended the throne at the tender age of around 9, under the supervision of influential advisors like Ai and Horemheb. His rise to power is significant because it highlights the intricacies of political maneuvering in ancient Egypt, as well as the restoration efforts to return to traditional polytheistic beliefs after Akhenaten's monotheistic revolution. The importance of Tutankhamun's ascension extends beyond his brief reign. It represents a critical response to the socio-political and religious turmoil initiated by his predecessor. For instance, Tutankhamun's decision to move the capital back to Thebes and restore the traditional pantheon, including the worship of Amun, reflects a deliberate return to cultural norms that stabilize the kingdom. Moreover, the restoration of temples and religious practices under his administration marks the tangible re-establishment of Egyptian cultural identity. Specific examples illustrating this point include the reinstitution of the Opet festival, a significant religious celebration, and the refurbishment of the Temple of Karnak. These actions not only reinforced the pharaoh's legitimacy, but also helped mend the fractured religious and social structures left by Akhenaten. However, opinions on Tutankhamun's effectiveness as a ruler vary. Some historians argue that his ascension was merely symbolic, with real power vested in his advisors. Others believe his reign was a necessary bridge to restore Egypt's former glory and ensure stability. The challenges associated with his rule include speculation about his health, given his young age and possible ailments, which may have limited his capacity to wield power independently. Controversies surrounding Tutankhamun's reign include debates about his sudden and mysterious death, which some theories attribute to foul play or accidents, adding a layer of intrigue to his story. Additionally, The swift reversal of his father's religious policies has been a subject of discussion regarding the sincerity and motivation behind such moves. Tutankhamun's ascension not only set the stage for his brief yet impactful reign, but also laid the groundwork for subsequent rulers to navigate the complexities of dynastic politics and religious restoration. It connects deeply to the tragic end of his reign, as the young king's untimely death plunged Egypt back into uncertainty, highlighting the fragile nature of power transitions in ancient civilizations. The political and religious landscape of ancient Egypt during Tutankhamun's era was complex and transformative, characterized by the interplay between traditional Egyptian beliefs and the radical reforms introduced by his predecessor, Akhenaten. This period, known as the Amarna period, saw the elevation of the sun disk Aten as the supreme deity, effectively sidelining the established pantheon, particularly Amun. Akhenaten's revolutionary monotheism dismantled the traditional religious structure, concentrating power in the hands of the pharaoh and his close aides, which disrupted the political equilibrium of Egypt's powerful priesthood. The significance of this landscape in relation to Tutankhamun's reign is profound. Upon ascending the throne as a young boy, Tutankhamun, under the guidance of his advisors, reinstated the worship of the traditional gods, including Amun. This restoration was a strategic move to stabilize the nation's political climate by appeasing the influential priesthood and restoring traditional religious practices favored by the populace. This return to orthodoxy was crucial for re-establishing the continuity and unity that Akhenaten's radical changes had eroded. A specific example of this shift is the return of the capital from Akhenaten, modern-day Amarna, to Thebes, a city closely associated with the god Amun. By moving the capital back, Tutankhamun symbolically and pragmatically realigned his reign with traditional practices. Another example is the alteration of his name from Tutankhaten to Tutankhamun, signifying the rejection of Atenism and the reaffirmation of the old gods. Scholars generally support the idea that Tutankhamun's restoration efforts were pivotal in restoring social order and religious harmony, allowing Egypt to regain its cultural and political strength. However, challenges to this perspective include debates about the real extent of Tutankhamun's agency in these decisions, given his youth. Some theorists suggest that influential figures like and Horemheb orchestrated these changes to consolidate their power. This political-religious dynamic connects significantly with the tragic end of Tutankhamun's reign. While restoring traditional practices likely stabilized Egypt to some degree, it also set the stage for internal power struggles, evidenced by the short-lived reigns and eventual ascension of Horemheb, who erased much of Tutankhamun's legacy. Thus, the religious and political landscape during Tutankhamun's reign not only defined his short rule, but also influenced the subsequent power dynamics and historical narrative of ancient Egypt. The health and lifestyle of Tutankhamun, the young Egyptian pharaoh, have been subjects of intense study, offering intriguing insights into his short reign and mysterious death. Modern science, through advancements in technology such as DNA analysis and CT scans, has allowed researchers to piece together details about this enigmatic ruler's physical condition and daily life. Tutankhamun, who ascended to the throne at a very young age, was not only a figurehead of immense religious and political significance, but also a young man whose personal life was marked by challenges. Understanding Tutankhamun's health and lifestyle is pivotal to comprehending the broader circumstances of his tragic end. Scientific investigations have revealed that he suffered from various ailments, including a cleft palate, a clubfoot, and several genetic disorders. These health issues would have significantly impacted his ability to rule and his daily life, potentially influencing decisions made during his reign. Furthermore, the presence of malaria parasites in his system indicates the harsh realities of ancient Egyptian life, where even a pharaoh was not immune to common diseases. Examples of how modern science has reshaped our understanding of Tutankhamun include the use of DNA testing to confirm familial relationships and the identification of physical deformities through imaging techniques. These findings have shifted the narrative from ancient myth to scientific fact, revealing a more human side to the young pharaoh often lost in the grandeur of his burial treasure. There are historians and scientists who argue that Tutankhamun's poor health is crucial to understanding the political and religious turmoil of his reign. His physical limitations could have rendered him more dependent on advisors, such as the powerful Vizier Ai and the General Horemheb, potentially affecting the stability of his administration. However, this scientific approach is not without its challenges and controversies. Some scholars debate the conclusions drawn from these modern techniques, arguing that historical records and archaeological context should not be overshadowed by scientific data alone. There is also a broader discussion about the ethics of studying ancient remains, particularly concerning cultural sensitivity and respect for the deceased. The investigation into Tutankhamun's health and lifestyle is intricately linked to understanding the end of his reign. His physical condition may have influenced diplomatic and military decisions, while his reliance on advisors shaped the legacy of the pharaohs that followed. By marrying the insights of modern science with historical analysis, we gain a richer, more nuanced picture of Tutankhamun's life and the factors that contributed to the tragic end of his reign.